Happy April 1st, everybody. Breaking news. Members of the Food and Drug Administration have turned themselves in to federal court, citing years of guilt from bad associations with the pharmaceutical industry, citing corruption and greed as being their motivating factors rather than public safety. And the Obama administration is prepared to follow through with full prosecution to the extent of the law. April Fools, everybody. Wouldn't it be great if that would happen, but it ain't going to happen. They've got too much money and too much power in order to pull that off. That's never going to happen. I mean, even if someone at the FDA got a conscience and started to become a whistleblower, guess what would happen to them? They would be disappeared. You'd find them at the bottom of the Potomac, floating out to sea unceremoniously, for goodness sake. Absolute power corrupts, absolutely. And if you think that the Food and Drug Administration has your back, you've got your head in the sand. It's time to wake up, snap out of it, fire your MD, take your nutritional supplements, get your health back, use the right dog for the hunt. For goodness sake, you're bleeding to death, you got a broken leg, visit the MDs. That's what they're good for. You have a chronic health condition, heal yourself. Get on board with our boilerplate, science-based, clinically verified health recovery formulations to support and promote the healing power of your body in the face of most chronic health conditions. What are you waiting for? I mean, for goodness sake, clean your diet up, give your body the essential nutrients it needs to fix itself, get the heck out of the way and let her get it done, get the job done. Going to Wyoming now where they get the job done every day, talking to Jacob about hot flushes. Hey, Jacob, thanks for waiting. You are live.
Thank you for calling, Dr. Glidden. I have somebody who's interested in buying some product, and she was curious if there's anything for hot flashes, rosacea, and small psoriasis, and a small form of psoriasis. She is 56 years old, 5'1", and weighs 130.
All right, so the psoriasis and the rosacea are kissing cousins because, of course, they're both showing up on the skin. The main cause of psoriasis is oxidative damage to the skin coupled with chronic lack of skin nutrients. You know, the skin just doesn't have the stuff it needs to keep itself healthy, and she's eating all the wrong food all the time. It's promoting inflammation in different parts of the body, so the inflammation comes out on the skin, and then it becomes a runaway train. Rosacea is often a vitamin B12 deficiency. Can also be other B vitamin deficiencies, and so, you know, nutrient deficiencies. Hot flushes, of course, are a normal part of menopause. Has she had, how old is she, and does she still have all her plumbing, do you know?
She's 56, and yeah, she still does.
Okay, so then, you know, it's part of menopause, and hot flushes, menopause, the transition from the childbearing years into the non-childbearing years is called perimenopause. Menopause is clinically defined once you have not had a menstrual flow for 12 months in a row. If you're getting your menstrual cycle and then you stop for a couple of months and then it comes back and then you get 2 in 1 month, and then you go for 4 months without a menstrual flow and then it comes back, you're perimenopausal. When your menstrual cycle stops and doesn't come back and it's been away for 12 months in a row, you are technically in the menopausal years. And during perimenopause and menopause, hot flushes can come along for the ride. But remember, menopause is not a disease, it's a time of life. Puberty is not a disease, it's a time of life. The childbearing years are not a disease, it's a time of life. And each of these 3 phases of life, puberty, childbearing years, perimenopause, and then menopause, are associated with different pros and cons and different symptoms, right? So one of the symptoms of perimenopause or menopause is mood swings and hot flushes. However, because this is a transition that the body's going through, it's an extracurricular stress to the body, and the body needs to have nutrients necessary to handle the extracurricular stress, the same way that you would put a raincoat on and an umbrella if you were going to walk around in the rain. Otherwise, you get soaked to the bone, and that wouldn't be a good thing. But, you know, if you put your slicker on over there in London with Gareth and you've got your umbrella, you've got your bumbershoot, you can walk around in the rain all day, no problem. So you just have to guard yourself against the stress of life. The best thing to do from a nutritional point of view when you're afflicted with hot flushes is this particular recipe. Balance FX every day. The Balance FX every day. It's that simple. Just have her take it. You know, she's less than 150 pounds, so I would just give her 1 bottle of Balance FX a day. Give her 2 capsules, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. The Balance FX, I would add that to the Healthy Start Pack and the selenium appropriate for body weight, right? So she gets 1 bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight. So I'd give her 3 bottles of selenium. I'd give her 1 Healthy Start Pack, and I would give her 1 extra bottle of EFA+. So I'd give her 1 Healthy Start Pack, 3 bottles of selenium, 1 bottle of EFA+, and 1 bottle of Balance FX, 1 bottle of Balance FX. I'd have her do that for 3 months, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods, and consume foods that are high in cholesterol. I mean, eggs for breakfast, eggs for lunch. Eggs, eggs, eggs. Full-fat yogurt, full-fat cheese, full-fat milk, chicken with the skin, anything that's high in cholesterol, she wants to eat a bunch of because her sex hormones are made from cholesterol. And that's what her body needs. Now, there's another interesting thing you can give her, but I don't think she'll need it. It's the HGH Youth Complex. If you really want to push this one to the limit, you could give her 6 HGH Youth Complex before bed. 6 HGH Youth Complex before bed. The HGH Youth Complex provides the body with the building blocks it needs to make the hormones from cholesterol. So it's, you know, it's not a bad idea because we're trying to balance the hormonal system. And one of the things that we do when we're attempting to balance the hormonal system is support the liver, because the liver helps the body regulate hormone levels. The liver is functional in having appropriate hormone levels in the body, so the selenium supports and promotes the health of the liver, as do the rest of the 90 essential nutrients and the EFAs. Essential fatty acid supplementation. I have seen essential fatty acid supplementation all by itself eliminate hot flushes, all by itself. So when anybody has hot flushes, we give extra EFAs, and the Balance FX Daily is kind of like the secret sauce for that, and so that's how I would manage that, Jacob. And you should see traction in that domain in about 3 weeks, but there's a couple things that can happen here. Remember, this transition from perimenopause into menopause is a natural cycle of life, and it's going to take however long it's going to take for the body to sort that out. So while she's waiting for her body to sort it out, the therapy that I just recommended, as it supports and promotes the structure and function of her endocrine system, which is her hormonal system, it should knock down the hot flushes. It won't eliminate them. It should knock them down so that they're manageable and that they're not debilitating and that she's not sweating bullets and having to change clothes at work during the day or drench the sheets at night in bed, right? It should knock down the hot flushes to make them manageable, because remember, this is a part of life and she's just going to have to go through it. The other thing that will happen, of course, is when we're going through a transitional stage in life with a completely nutrified body and a relatively good diet, then we're going to sail through that transitional period with much more speed than otherwise it would take. So I think that about wraps it up, Jacob. Anything else I can do for you?
Well, I'm just curious. Do you remember the guy calling back a few months ago from the town of about 17,000 people with the pharmaceutical card contradiction?
I don't remember that. Ring my memory here.
Well, I asked you about what were the conflict. What do you do when you're having conflict with pharmacies accepting your cards in the small community? Yeah,
and what happened?
Well, I guess I wanted to tell you I took your advice of passing out CDs and inviting people to webinars, and I guess I want to tell you it's going a lot better, and yeah, it's just really cool to see it happen, just being a college kid in school and starting to build a really nice business. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity.
Hey, Jacob, all right, so let's get real here. How much was your last check from Longevity?
Well, it was my very first check. It was for $20.28.
You got to love it, man. It's going to get better. It's going to go up and up and up and up and up. Why don't you call me once a month on the first of the month and tell me what your last check was, and we can just kind of watch your growth into the business as we go by. That would be a lot of fun, Jacob.
I'd love to do that. Thank you for the offer.
All right, I'll look forward to hearing from you on the first of every month. Now go out there and get them, man, because you are the last best hope your community has to live long, healthy, wealthy lives. I'm very proud of what you're doing. Now go out there and get her done, man, and thank you so much for the phone call. Now, as we're winding up this particular segment, there's just one more thing that I want to stress here, and I can't stress this enough. This is all about paradigm shifts. The MDs, even the integrative medical MDs who think that they're practicing holistic medicine are practicing holistic medicine through the old method. They're practicing it through the old reductionistic paradigm. And they're so pig-headed, for goodness sake, that they don't even know that they're not doing it correctly because, right, you don't know what you don't know. Someone has to show it to you. You have to have a moment of enlightenment. You have to have a breakthrough. You have to have a eureka experience. And this type of eureka experience is non-existent in the reductionistic world of the MD because tigers never change their stripes. So beware the medical professional telling you that they practice integrative medicine. Welcome the naturopath, because the naturopath learns it from day one. And that's always a better recipe for success. You want to have the purest form of the treatment available, and that's what we bring to the table. Dr. Peter Glidden, your friendly neighborhood naturopath, reminding you that an old falsehood is always more popular than a new truth. An old falsehood is always more popular than a new truth, and only you can prevent allopathic reductionism. Going to Illinois right now, my stomping ground at the current day and time. Talking to Rich with a question about eyesight. Hey, Rich, thanks for the call. You are live.
All right. Thanks for taking the call today. My question is with somebody that I train at the gym. He's actually an MMA fighter, and he just got a diagnosis from his MD that if he takes another hit to the head, anywhere in the forehead area, I guess he said, that his eye sockets, he could lose his eyesight due to his, he didn't give me the exact diagnosis, so I'm trying to wing it here a little bit, but he said that basically the connective tissue that holds his eyes in place is becoming shredded. And he was basically told that there's nothing they can do, he's going to lose his sight in just a matter of time. So...
All right, well, they told...
Another quick question about Lyme disease, since you talked about that earlier, if we have time.
Okay, so, all right, so they told Theo Ratliff the same thing, right? Theo Ratliff, of course, was the second oldest player in the NBA. He retired a year and a half ago from the LA Lakers after making $100 million in NBA, and I think 5 years into his career, you know, the kid's 25, 26 years old. They told him he's done because his connective tissue in his knees and his joints is bad. His ligaments and tendons rip and tear easily. He's got bursitis. He's got osteoporosis, and he can't play at the level necessary for the NBA when the body is broken down as that. So the best orthopedic doctors in the world told him he's done, right? He's done. You're done. Go home, retire early, you know, and invest your money wisely. Well, Theo pays no attention to their nonsense. He calls Dr. Wallach up and says, hey, Doc, you know, my ligaments and tendons are shredded. My bones and joints are weak. I've got osteoporosis. What the heck do I do? Wallach says, all right, Theo, look, stop eating these foods. Start eating these foods. Take these nutritional supplements every day. And he did, like his life depended on it because, well, you know, his career depended on it. So he did it like a discipline, you know, like only sports guys can do. I mean, they can discipline stuff like nobody's business. So Theo made this his job, made medical nutrition his training job, right? 9 months later, after taking all of the nutritional supplements and changing his diet, his body was so strong, he came back to the NBA without any surgeries, and for the next 3 years led the leagues in rebounds. And from the time they told him he was done until the time he finally retired, he added $38 million to his bank account from NBA contracts because he strengthened his body. So, here's the deal, man. It's all about the stress of life. And there is stress. There's a certain amount of stress that's going to break anybody's bone. There's a certain amount of stress that's going to make anybody's eyeball pop out of the socket, right? But even Superman, you give him enough kryptonite, he's going down for the count. Professional athletes, of course, because of their job, have much more physical stress, especially MMA fighters. I mean, they're just, they're getting beat up literally every day. Their bodies are extremely stressed out. And so what does that mean? They have to retire? No. What it means is they have to give their body triple the amount of the nutrients that you or I need in order to handle the stress of life that they have willingly put themselves in the face of. You wouldn't, if you were loading the guns on the 40-inch, loading the big shells on the 40-inch guns on a battleship, you wouldn't be doing that without ear protection, because once one of those rounds goes off, you're going to go deaf if you're standing next to it unless you've got ear protection. Well, you put ear protection, you can load those shells all day. Well, it's the same. If this guy wants to continue in fighting professionally, he's going to have to strengthen his body from the inside out, and that's different from weight training and building muscle strength. He has to nutrify his body so that his body has the raw materials necessary to keep his ligaments, tendons, bones, and everything else healthy. I mean, it's really kind of a no-brainer when you look at it from this position, right? Because of the stress of his life, he has to dial in a medical nutrition program that feeds his connective tissue, in this case, big time. And we have evidence, ample evidence, from athletes all over the world that this actually works. And, of course, his MD isn't going to know anything about this. The MD thinks that, once you're sick, you're screwed, and your body can't fix it. And, we're going to wait for the cyborg guy to put that in your body. That's going to be their next strategy. So stick around with me, man, Rich. When we come back on the other side of this break, I will tell you exactly what to do to support this guy's connective tissue, and then we'll talk about Lyme disease. All right, so we're talking to Rich, who's a personal trainer, I think. You're a personal trainer, right, Rich?
Yes.
All right, and he's got a client who's a mixed martial arts guy, and his doctor told him that his vision was threatened because the connective tissue that supports his eye in the skull is shredded just because of the trauma that he's had, the blows to his head, and he needs to quit or he's going to go blind. Now, so the recommendation here, of course, Rich, is to give this guy the raw materials that his body needs to support and promote and strengthen and fix the connective tissue in the eye. I mean, that's only makes sense. Now, how much Theo Ratliff had to take 9 months off in order to fix his body again. He had to take 9 months off in order to fix his body again. So this guy might need to take a couple months off, might need to take 6 months off, might need to take, I don't know how long it's going to take. But, it's kind of like if he had a broken leg, he wouldn't expect to be running 5 miles a day if he had a broken leg. I mean, even if it had a cast on it and he'd put stress on it, it would break again. So while the game is afoot and he's in the healing zone, he may in fact want to just really get outside of competitive, blows to the head arena and do other stuff to keep his body fit. But just, he might want to get out of the ring for about 6 months. But here's what I would recommend he does every day. So we're going to provide him with a lot of connective tissue support, and to really kind of boost this over the edge because of his profession, the recommendation would be 1 bottle of Glucogel Plus, that's a liquid, Glucogel Plus, 1 bottle of Glucogel Plus per 50 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of Glucogel Plus per 50 pounds of body weight per month. 1 capsule of Glucogel. Glucogel is sold in a liquid and in a capsule form. We're going to give him both. he's going to get the capsule form of the glucogel dosed at 1 capsule per 10 pounds of body weight per day. So if he's 210 pounds, he gets 21 glucogel a day capsules. That would be 7 with breakfast, 7 with lunch, 7 with dinner. That's how you dose that. 1 capsule of the glucogel per 10 pounds of body weight per day. All right, the next thing to do to support and promote his connective tissue is give him selenium. Selenium, the recommendation, 1 bottle of Ultimate Selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per day. 1 bottle of Ultimate Selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per day. And to round it all off, of course, we give the 90 essential nutrients because we're holistic and we don't just give a lot of connective tissue stuff. We give everything that the body needs, plus extra connective tissue stuff. And when we do it this way, it works better. So the best way to get everything else is 1 simple healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and you want to round it up. So, if he's 180 pounds, give him the 200-pound dose. If he's 200 pounds, give him a 250-pound dose. All right? Now, also, you need to let him know, and quite frankly, everybody else in the gym, if you haven't already, you probably already have, about the Rebound FX. Because the Rebound FX is Youngevity's answer to Gatorade, and when you do a comparison, when you look at the comparison between what's in Rebound FX and what's in Gatorade or Vitamin Water or Power Water, it doesn't even compare. And every single athlete that I have had the privilege of putting on Rebound FX loves it, won't go on the court without it. There was a very famous basketball player, we can't mention his name in public, but he wouldn't go on the court without it. They made him put it in a Gatorade bottle. When you take Rebound FX into the sporting arena, as an athlete, you notice a difference. And so when he goes back into the ring, or even when he's training, if he uses the Rebound FX instead of the Gatorade, he's going to get a lot more bang from his workout. Because, what do you do when you work out? You stress your body. You stress your muscles, you stress your tendons, you stress your ligaments, you stress your organs, and then post-exercise, the body attempts to strengthen the stuff you just stressed. But it can't strengthen the stuff you just stressed with pixie dust. It needs raw materials, it needs vitamins and minerals and essential fatty acids to do that. So this is it. I'd hook him up with that program for about 6 months. Tell him to avoid blows to the head for 6 months. And, of course, the secret sauce, because this is a 1-2 punch, the pun was intended that time, we give the supplements and we clean up the diet. So he's got to stop eating the 10 bad foods, stop eating the 10 bad foods, take these supplements and see how it goes. And, it should go really well. Athletes and women and children respond to medical nutrition with rapid speed. And if he does this even just for 14 days, he should notice a significant difference. Does that sound like a plan?
Great. I know I've got extensive experience with Rebound. I love it, and I won't go to the gym without it myself. It's just amazing stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff. All right, so now we've got someone with Lyme disease, or what's up with that?
That, actually, I called Dr. Wallach last week, but wasn't able to get through in the short time frame that he had there. This is actually my dog. She's a 70-pound red-nosed pit bull. Also has Addison's disease. Came down with Lyme disease last summer from deer ticks, and then I actually went through the antibiotic treatment with the vet and everything, and then through your recommendation, got some teasel root, and she was progressing pretty well with the protocol that I got from Youngevity, the Arthrodex, the de-stress capsules, and some extra glucogel along with the EFAs I've been giving her. And everything was going really well until the beginning of the year here, and I found right before I got her medicine for the year, found a deer tick on her ear that had been there for at least 24 to 48 hours. It was already swollen, and she started going backwards in a hurry. She's having a hard time standing up, going downstairs. She can go up a little bit, but the arthritic conditions and the pain in her back end has gotten really, really much worse in the last few months. I started a different treatment program. It got this Durlactin. It was a dried milk protein to help with the chronic inflammatory stuff. Yeah. And other than that, I just go in with the teasel and the Youngevity products that I've had her on. Like I said, she's just been having a rough go of it lately. Thought maybe I could get some of your 2 cents on that.
Yeah, all right. Well, so this is a tough road to hoe, right? So, of course, every time there's a continued infection, you just want to repeat the therapy. And sometimes when you repeat the therapy, it works better, and sometimes it doesn't work as well. And I don't really know why. I've had different people give me different, kind of biochemical, theoretical explanations about that, but it's all theoretical mumbo-jumbo. Who knows why? So in the face of a brand new infection, all that you can do is do what worked in the past, just repeat it. You might just want to give her a little bit more teasel. One of the things that's helpful with animals is that by instinct, they tend to know what they need. So you just might want to put the teasel out in a bowl and just let the dog, drink from it whenever they need to, rather than just trying to give her, dedicated doses a day. Because and I would do that with the Arthrodex and the glucogel as well. I would just kind of put it out and let her eat it, or let the dog eat it as needed. By their own instinct. And that might give you more bang for your therapeutic buck here. Now, there is one more thing, and the classical homeopaths in the listening audience are going to flinch when I mention this, but there is a homeopathic medicine which often is very helpful with animals that suffer from an arthritic condition. It is a shot from the hip. It's either going to help or it's not going to do anything, but it's not going to hurt, and it's very inexpensive. And if it helps, it's a great big positive. I mean, it's a great big positive. So I would go to the health food store and get a tube of homeopathic Rus toxicodendron. Let me spell that for you. It's R like Roger, H like Harry, U, S like Sam, R-H-U-S. Second word, T like Thomas, O, X, I, C like Charlie, O, D like David, E, N like Nancy, D like David, R like Roger, O, N like Nancy. Rus toxicodendron. Get it in the 30C strength. And this is going to be in the vitamin aisle in the health food store. The homeopathics are dispensed in little plastic shelf alphabetically. They're dispensed in little blue tubes with about 100 little white medicated pellets in each tube. The recommendation would be to pop 2 of the pellets in her mouth once a day, in the dog's mouth once a day, and put 2 of the pellets in the water every time you refresh the water. So just plop 2 pellets in the water. Don't worry if they don't dissolve or not, and give her 2 pellets orally. Do 2 pellets orally and 2 pellets in the water every day for 7 days, and see if that doesn't give her a leg up on the arthritic condition. You'll know within 7 days whether it's effective. Does that sound good?
That sounds great. That's definitely helpful. I'm very appreciative as always.
All right, Rich, keep up the good work. I appreciate the phone call, and I want you to turn everybody in your gym onto Rebound FX because they all need it. I appreciate the phone call. Going to California now, one of my favorite states in the union. Going to talk to Marie with a problem with shortness of breath. Hey, Marie, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Last week I called you about my husband's cough. Remember, you gave me a spongia toaster, and that helps a lot. Thank you so much.
I love my job. You're welcome.
But he has a shortness of breath. He when he lied down to sleep, he coughed and he had to get up. He had to sit up to sleep, or either he had to sleep on the side because he can't breathe that well. And he goes, it's like awful. And it looked like he needs some oxygen or something. And then a week ago, he has a swollen ankles. I'm not sure if related for cough or what. To recommend.
Well, this is a really hard, first of all, I can't diagnose anything over the phone, right? I mean, this could be a number of things. He could have a heart condition. It could be a heart condition. It could be an asthmatic condition. It could be a circulatory thing. He could be anemic. There could be a number of things going on here. The most common cause of swelling in the ankles is not enough protein in the blood. But you know what I would do just to be safe? I would find a chiropractor who has a clue. I would take him to the chiropractor and have him do a little diagnostic workup and see what's going on here, and then get back to me. Because, if it's a heart condition, it's going to be one thing that we're going to do. If it's an anemic condition, it's going to be another, and I don't want to kind of mess around in the dark here. Generally speaking, in order to support and promote the health of the respiratory tract, the recommendation is 1 anti-aging healthy start pack per 100. Yeah, it's called anti-aging healthy start pack. Anti-aging healthy start pack.
He's on the healthy blood sugar.
He's on the healthy blood sugar pack. All right, so you want to add to that 2 bottles of Cell Shield RTQ. 2 bottles Cell Shield, yep. R like Roger, T like Thomas, Q like Queen, RTQ. 2 bottles of that a month. And 2 extra bottles of EFA Plus. 2 extra bottles of EFA Plus a month. Add the EFA Plus and the Cell Shield RTQ to his diet for 4 weeks. And in the meantime, bring him to someone who can listen to his lungs and maybe draw some blood so that you can see actually what the real cause of the problem is, and then call me back and I'll help you as much as I can. State, New Jersey, good old New Jersey, love that state. Hey, Jim, thanks for calling. You are live. Jim.
Call.
You're welcome.
You hear me, buddy?
Yeah, I
appreciate it. Appreciate it. Want to first say amazing work you're doing. Thank you very, very much for all of humanity because of what you are doing. Getting to my personal issue, I have 2 components to it. The first one is that I'm wanting to alter my personal sleep pattern, and I'm wondering if it can be supported by longevity products. And what I'm trying to do is trying to establish an inverted sleep schedule where I work at night and sleep during the day. I want to start a healthy 8-hour sleep pattern during the day when it's bright out, close all the windows and doors, and I've got a quiet area, so I'm thinking this is the last link that I need. I've noticed the body trying to pull me back into the daytime schedule. I tried it the last month, and it didn't quite work. It started with nighttime naps would start, and it grew in length until the point that I'd be down the whole time. I blame my dog because he's so fun to sleep with. And then finally, over the holiday, it turned into 2 10-hour all-night sleep sessions. And so I'm wondering if there's anything on the menu that I might be able to purchase to create a solid 8-hour sleep schedule during the day.
Well, what are you, a vampire or something? Why is it a job thing? Why do you want to sleep during the day? It's a job?
It's a job thing. Well, the thing is, it's a job thing based on the computer, so it's self-directed, self-driven, and it involves overnight markets. So. All
right, I got it. Okay, so here's what you have to do. There's no real secret here other than the fact you have to deny your retina access to light, all right? Because your circadian rhythm, your normal sleep-waking cycle is dictated not so much by the nutrient status in your body, but by the amount of light that your eyeball is exposed to, interestingly enough. There have been lots of sleep studies that have been done at many universities over many different years, and the fundamental fact of the matter is that if you are trying to sleep in a time other than nighttime, then the only way that you can dial that in is you have to get one of those masks, like they give you when you're on a plane, or it's like just a black mask that goes over your eyes and it completely blocks out all ambient light. I mean, even light from your alarm clock can get into your retina through your eyelid, your closed eyelid, and stimulate a waking cycle. So really the only secret here, Jim, is you have to completely cover your eyes with something. And the best way is just get one of those masks because they'll stay on all night. And it takes about 7 days, if I'm not mistaken, in order to get your body into its normal sleep-waking rhythm. So, and you can force a pattern. But the trick to this is you have to go to bed at the same time every night. You have to go to bed at the same time every night. You have to get into a schedule. See, and it can't be like, go to bed at 8 a.m., one day, and then 10 a.m. the next day, and then 8:30 the next day, and then 9 a.m. the next day. It's got to be the same time every day that you go to bed, with the thing on your eyes and with eliminating as much noise as is humanly possible from your ambient environment. Now, in addition to the diet and the Healthy Start Pack, of course, another thing that you can do is for 6 hours before you go to bed, 6 hours before you go to bed, be completely caffeine-free. No caffeine at all, not even decaf anything, for 6 hours before your head hits the pillow, number one. And number two, immediately before you go to bed, take 1 ounce of the white liquid calcium in a little bit of water or a little bit of orange juice and slug that baby down. The white liquid calcium helps to put your body into a nice, deep sleep state, regardless of when you go to bed. It's going to take about 7 days for your body to get into this groove. So set your clock, go to bed at the same time every day. 6 hours before that, stop having anything that has caffeine in it, and wear one of those black masks to bed. And after day 7, you should be into the new sleep cycle. That's how we do it where I came from, man. Keep up the good work, Jim. Wish we could talk more, but we're out of time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your friendly neighborhood naturopath, reminding you that only you can prevent allopathic reductionism, and in point of fact, you are the last best hope your family, friends, community, and church members have to live a long, healthy, wealthy life. Join us at Youngevity today. Go to my website, click on the Youngevity button, and I'll see you at the webinar tonight. Dr. Glidden, over and out.